So there's those kind of things we need to address. But what Mark said is true. The elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about are the pensions. And here's the short story about what happened on the pensions. In the year 2000, our pensions were fully funded. These are all, by the way, defined benefit plans. We put up money to pay these benefits in the future. Actuaries do a study to try to guess whether or not the amount of money we have set aside is going to be enough to pay all the benefits. So as late as 2000, the actuaries were saying that we had enough money set aside to pay those benefits. 2001 and 2002, the city granted some very substantial increases in the benefits. Well, when you increase the benefit, that increases the liability. We didn't put any more assets in, so we went being from fully funded to being $2.5 billion in debt to the plans in 3 years. And once you get behind on these plans, it becomes very difficult to ever catch up. You know, there's 3 different plans. This is an incredibly complicated problem with a lot of different issues in it. In some cases, it's because the benefits are too high. And that would be particularly, say, the plan for the fire department. In 2013, the employees that retired from the fire department, there were about 75 that retired with 30 years more service. The average age was 54. Okay, so these people were retiring at 54. The average benefit was a lump sum distribution of $750,000 plus $55,000 a year for their life and for their spouse's life, plus a 3% guaranteed COLA plus subsidized health insurance. The total package is worth a little over $2 million. Now, you know, look, you can argue whether that's fair or not fair. I'm not sure how to judge what's fair and that certain. It's not sustainable. You can't do that. And I promise you, firefighters in the private sector don't have a benefit that's even vaguely like that. On the other end of the spectrum, a solid waste worker's retirement is probably a fifth of that amount. And yet, that plan is actually in worse financial shape than the firefighter plan because the firefighters have the political clout to make sure their plan gets funded, and the poor municipal workers don't have the clout to get theirs funded. As long as you have these defined benefit plans in the public sector, elected officials are not going to fund them. That's just the reality. It's happened every place across the country. We've got to have a plan that moves us towards defined contribution plans at the end of the day. Now, I'm not in favor of changing the benefits that have been earned by our employees. I don't think that's fair. They gave us their service. They can't get those years back. You may argue that our elected officials made a bad deal, but they were our elected officials. And you know, Texas, a deal is a deal. So I think we've got to live up to the promises that we make to the existing employees. But to continue to make these promises to new employees is irresponsible. It's unnecessary. And ultimately, it will undermine the financial stability, not only of the city, but of the pension plans themselves. I keep trying to explain to my friends who work for the city, you ought to be the ones most concerned about reforming these plans. I have to say I'm not being incredibly successful in making that argument so far.